Okay, Facebook, YouTube friends, thank you very much for joining me this evening. My apologies, I am running solo this evening, so it's kind of hard for me to bounce back between Zoom and those platforms, but I will go back and answer all of your questions uh, by the end of the evening. So I will be here as long as you have questions. All right, let me get this started here. All right. Okay, thank you very much for sharing the areas that you're thinking of moving to. So I've got a new format this evening. We're going to try to maybe pull back the amount of content a little bit and give you the meat and potatoes, just so we don't absorb too much of your time. I plan on having people out of here in about 45, 50 minutes tops. And from there, please book a call with me. I always say that is the best. No charge. Everything that I do is for free. Okay. And I'm also going to unveil, we actually kicked off our new website with all the free content that is out there. We have courses on this topic. We've got free publications on all these topics and certainly coaching calls too. So I'll go over that in just a few moments. All right. With that being said, let's jump right into it. All right. So basically, we're going to cut to the chase this evening. What we're going to go over is we're going to expose to you how to tap into 2,500 down payment assistance and grant programs that are available across the country. Now, my neck of the woods, southeastern Michigan, right now there's one program offering up to $75,000. Hopefully, some of the other programs will be coming online that ran out of funds last year. A little bit of a delay this year. I think it's more attributed to the shutdown that happened a couple of months ago. So my personal feeling, the marketplace right now, we have never seen a better time to purchase a home. Not as many buyers out there as there have been over the past few years. That coupled along with, I feel like there is a lot of money coming down the pike. So back September 1, Trump's right-hand man, Secretary Scott Bessent, he is the Secretary of Treasury. He actually did an interview where he came out and admitted that there is, in fact, a housing crisis. The average first-time home buyer right now is approaching 40 years old, and there is a huge disconnect between what I consider the haves and have-nots, as they call it in Washington. And as a result, it is really putting a lot of pressure on that middle market. So it's actually the middle market, in my opinion, is disappearing, and rental rates are not going back for the people that can least afford it. So as a result, he actually even threw out the words executive order may be coming. So what they did say, he said in his interview, was that they are not going to be cutting any of the down payment assistance and grant programs. In fact, they are looking at ways to contribute more money to the problem. So specifically, the words tax incentives or tax credits. Now, nothing's pinned down whether that's going to be a tax credit applied on your actual income tax return, or is it a tax credit they're going to apply at closing. That would be awesome. Now, those would actually piggyback some of the programs that are out there. And so right now I am sounding the drum for people. If that does in fact happen, the floodgates will open. Okay. I think one of the reasons they may be throttling that out or controlling, holding it back, for lack of better words, is the fact that the inventory levels are not up there. And with that being said, if they roll out these programs, we're going to be back to where we were during COVID. Not a lot of houses, tons of incentives to buy houses, prices skyrocket. I think they're trying to fight that. One reason I can point to is they stopped the incentives. Hey, these Fortune 500 companies buying these rentals and renting them out, not there. So that's been cut out. So Trump put the hammer down on that. So I think that actually that was a good thing. So I think that actually pushes rents up in many markets. Not so much the market that I work in, but certainly in the Southwest, West Coast. Those are areas that really get heavily influenced by corporate ownership. Florida as well, too. But Florida is going through a little bit of a correction right now. So anyways, I do feel as if there are going to be a tremendous amount of money that's going to be opening up in the very near future. And I encourage everyone to please schedule your calls with me. Let's get a roadmap for you and your family to purchase, whether we can do it right away or 6 to 12 months. It doesn't matter. I always tell people, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, doesn't matter to me. Schedule that call. I want to learn your situation and put myself in your shoes and tell you exactly what I would do. So with that being said, I'm going to give you a link here in the chat box. This is a link to my calendar. Please take me up on this. Okay. Free call. Takes about 15, 20 minutes. We're just going to learn your situation, tell you what programs and options are out there if you wanted to act today, or if you're in a lease or something, you want to wait a few months, absolutely fine. Let's make sure that you are in the right position to take advantage of it in a couple months too. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on. All right. So I always like to tell people, give you some of the success stories. Okay. I get a lot of people that look at what I do and they think that what I do is not legitimate. I actually hear the word scam every now and then. I am here to assure you this is not the case. I have helped many people get into homes with very little money out of pocket. And I'm going to share with you some of the best success stories I've had over the past couple of months. This first person, Nate. Nate actually got a $14,000 down payment assistance program to buy this home in White Lake Township. He actually qualified for a solar energy package that they're going to be putting on his house in the spring. So the purchase price on his house was $260,000. So this covered all of his down payment. And then we just had to get some concessions from the seller to help cover his closing costs. So he got in with just a few $1,000s out of pocket. Kenneth, one of my favorite stories, Kenneth was actually referred to me by way of his barber. He actually called me. He was actually sitting in his barber's chair and was telling his barber how he was being evicted from his house. He was living with a roommate. His roommate moved out. The landlord showed up one day and said, "Hey, where's your roommate gone?" So his landlord said, "Hey, sorry, Kenneth, you got to move." So Kenneth's a musician, okay? Didn't want to be in an apartment. So his barber had him call me while I was right in the chair. We actually had him out looking at houses that afternoon. Kenneth actually had very good credit. He was on a fixed Social Security income, and we were still able to get him approved for this $95,000 house on Detroit's west side that was redone. This was somebody that actually did a very good job with the renovations. So no lipstick on this house. Kenneth's story was one that was one for the books. So Kenneth was actually got to the point where he was homeless for a little while. We actually put him up in a hotel, okay, because it took a couple of weeks to get closed. And while he was in the hotel, this puppy showed up that's in the photo. So he ended up finding this dog and named him Maestro because he's a musician. And then unfortunately, the motel didn't like the fact that dog showed up, and we pushed him out, stayed with the family member for a couple of nights, but we did end up getting him in. He secured a $10,000 down payment assistance program from the state of Michigan. So that covered all of his down payment and almost all of his closing costs. I think Kenneth actually got a check back for a couple of dollars at closing. All in, he did need $950. Okay, so he paid for a home inspection that might have been, I think we got him a discounted one because he was on a fixed income. We got him an inspection down to $250. And then I think he gave a $750 deposit, and then there was zero due at closing. So he only needed 1% out of his pocket. So very, very happy for him. And I think his payments came in at like $700 a month. And I don't know where everybody's located, but in my neck of the woods, it's hard to even find a one-bedroom apartment for that. Next person is Shannon. So Shannon actually was referred to me by a couple of coworkers. She works at the Kroger. If you're in the Detroit area, shout out to the Kroger, 8 Mile and Wyoming. So that being said, for whatever reason, these people, I love working with them. got a nice wave of people coming through there. I like to think we're doing a good job. So person that referred Shannon was actually April. April qualified for that $25,000 that was available through the city of Detroit. Unfortunately, that money had run out by the time Shannon hit my radar, but we were able to get her into a zero down conventional program with no mortgage insurance. So she only had to have $2,000 at closing. And this house actually was right on Wyoming. Shannon was someone that wanted to be within walking distance to work. So we were able to accommodate there. As you can see, nice remodeled kitchen, solid 50s brick ranch. And you'll see a nice recurring theme here. I love solid brick ranches. So this next one, Emily, absolute one of my favorite stories. Emily's actually become I consider a good friend. I met Emily probably about a year ago. She actually went to one of my webinars, and Emily is fine with me sharing her story because otherwise I would not go into detail. But Emily is one of those people that is just turned into a big fan, and I am just as big a fan of hers because I learn as much from her as she did from me. So Emily not only was on a fixed income, okay, Social Security, she actually receives Section 8 help, okay? So she had a Section 8 voucher. Now, there are programs out there if you are with a certain housing commission. And I pause and stress this program because if you have any friends or family members on that, there are purchase programs available. So this is how it rolled. We found a house, actually it was on Freeland, and we got the offer accepted. She ended up purchasing it for $117,800. Emily got a great deal on this 1950s brick ranch, finished basement, 2 full baths, solid house. Anyways, she qualified for the $25,000 from the city. We were able to get a $7,500. No, excuse me, scratch that. It wasn't the $7,500. It was a 3% gift program on top of it, which was another, I think 3%. That was another $3,500 roughly. And then we received a closing cost grant of $5,000. And then on top of that, a $500 appraisal grant. So she ran the table. She got all the money. I think $33,134 to buy this home for $117,000. I think her payment again came in around that $700 mark. But the bonus is that if you have a Section 8 voucher, they will make your mortgage payment for you for up to 15 years. Relatively new program. There are only a few people in the state that are actually on this program right now. Emily this program has actually been around for a few years, but Emily was the first person to ever get it done through the Detroit Housing Commission. Since then, we've been able to help several families. So she basically would not be denied. She paved the way for a whole community of people. So I will forever be in her debt for allowing me to work with her to get her across the finish line, because getting through any type of government agency is never an easy road. It's a little bumpy, but Emily is that person that would not be denied, and she's made the way, and it's actually smooth for people now. I'll tell you, it's always a bumpy road buying a house. There's always hiccups, but as long as we know those bumps are coming, or there's potholes in the road, and I can point them out, that's fine. It's what we don't know that sometimes creates stress, at least in my world. So very, very happy for Emily. So now Section 8 is actually going to be making her payment for the foreseeable future. So you have anybody in that type of situation, please let me know. And always happy to help people on that side of it, because it's definitely an underserved community. So, and I'm actually working on doing a webinar dedicated just to that community, because I feel like it's one that needs more help, and there isn't a lot of good guidance there. Now, next one, Tashiana actually purchased this house. She received a $25,000 DPA program to buy this one at $123,000. And next one, actually, this is actually a new bank of slides. So I think we got a mistake on that one. We'll have to correct. This is Brian. Brian bought this home on Hills Drive in Inkster. He used a $10,000 down payment assistance program from the state of Michigan and was able to purchase with just a few $1,000s out of pocket, and his payment's only $1,200 a month. So next one. This is another one. This will be my last one this evening, but this one is huge. Deborah actually qualified for a program that still has funding. It's available in 9 zip codes in Detroit. It's the Tobias Harris program. The Detroit Pistons basketball player has funded a down payment assistance program that is giving up to $75,000. Now, when Deborah called me, I wasn't really sure whether it was believable or not, but she had called and said, "Hey, John, you helped someone on the." I was referred to her. I think it might have been through through Emily, and Emily shared with her how I got her done through the Housing Commission. Well, Deborah was in a Housing Commission situation, but the Tobias Harris program was offering so much money down. Unfortunately, her Housing Commission didn't participate in the purchase program, but her landlord offered to sell her this house at a price of $125,000. And that would have been, 5 years ago. And as fate would have it, she was actually working with a landlord that was pretty honorable. And he was the exception to the rule. So his name is LaDon. You'll see actually LaDon's on the right. You'll see there's Deborah and LaDon's on the right. Well, LaDon, being a man of his word, actually honored the sale price of $125,000. So what we did is we were able to structure this transaction. In other words, we were able to bump the sale price up, get her the whole $75,000. LaDon gave her a $41,000 gift of equity, and she was able to buy this home on Cherry Lawn. This is in the University District for just $1,500 out of pocket. And she was renting it for $1,100. By the time we were done, her payment came in at like $800 a month. It was just an incredible win for everyone here. So very, very happy occasion. So that's actually Deborah. That's the loan officer at Guild Mortgage, Steve Narden. He's the one that's actually handling the Tobias Harris program. And that has limited funding. There are still about 10 slots available and some very generous zip codes. Obviously here you've got the University District. I've got one I just did yesterday in East English Village, qualifies there too. So imagine this, if you're buying a house, the one we just structured, $187,000 house, and then you use a $75,000 down payment, now you're getting $187,000 house. And I think the payments are only going to come in at like $900 for the person we just did yesterday. So extremely low. I mean, it's hard to find a 1-bedroom. 2-bedroom apartments right now are probably going around $1,300, at least here in southeastern Michigan. So, oh, interesting. Regina is saying Detroit, I assume you're talking about the Detroit Housing Commission has houses on their scattered sites for sale now. Didn't know that. So if you wouldn't mind sending me a link, Regina, I'd really appreciate that. No, April, thank you for asking. No, there's help all over the country. April, whereabouts are you chiming in from? I just assumed with a lot of people saying they were in Michigan today. Where do you hail from, April? So I was telling Arizona. Oh, wow. We are up in Michigan right now. It's actually been beautiful the past couple of days. It's like hit 30 degrees, but we've had a pretty brutal winter here. So I hope the weather down there, you're enjoying it. But I'll tell you what, April, if you have a house in Arizona, if you could give me a property address, I'm going to show you a tool where we'll be able to tell you how many programs are available in just a moment. Okay. And if anybody else has a specific property they'd like me to test out in just a moment, I'll be happy to do it. So, but first I want to talk about, and Wisconsin. You know what? Either way, the app that I'm going to show you in a minute, you just put in an address and it's going to tell you what programs you qualify for. So, but before I get into that, I want to tell you a few things. What is down payment assistance? That's just kind of like a generic term. Okay. It's just something that helps people take care of the down payment. There are several types. There's actually grants, which are free money. We always want to try to tap into grants first. After that, then we go to down payment assistance. Now, down payment assistance actually can go several different ways. The first way is they give you money, they put a lien on the house, and you don't make any payments. And then at the end of a certain period of time, be it 3, 4, 5 years, the lien is extinguished and you get to keep all the money. Great program. Okay. So as long as you live in the house for anywhere from 3 to 5 years, you get to keep all the money. So typically I want to look for grants and then go to down payment assistance. Sometimes we want to hit the down payment assistance and then stack that down payment assistance with grants. Okay. Like Emily started stacking those up. It's possible to do that if the programs have funding at the time. So that's where my level of expertise comes in. Okay. Finding the programs, that's relatively easy once I show this next tool to you. The hard part is sometimes stacking the grants and, more importantly, aligning yourself with the lenders that work with the grants and the down payment assistance program. Unfortunately, the real estate world is wired where they always tell you, go get your pre-approval first. Okay. I mean, most mortgage lenders would just like to say, call them first. Okay. We'll get you your pre-approval, then find your agent. A lot of agents go, come to us first. Then we're going to send you out and get you pre-approved with the lenders we like. I don't work that way. You tell me an area or you give me an address. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to find out where is the money. Then once we've identified where the money is, I want to find out what lenders are controlling the money so we can get you the most amount. Now, sometimes some lenders are a little bit more, cumbersome to work with than others, but it just depends. So for example, Bank of America right now, they've been offering $17,000, $18,000 in free money for many, many years now. Actually, they have a fund that was basically funded with $3 billion back from the financial meltdown in 2000, I think it was 13. And I haven't checked in a year, but a year ago, they were still holding on to $2 billion. So they're just dripping it out in my mind. So is Bank of America offer a lot of money? Heck yeah, it's free money. The downside is it's kind of painful working with them. But if you check all the boxes, I don't know about you, but sometimes it's worth going through a little pain if somebody's going to give you that kind of money. So, but I think it's important that you work with a professional like myself, just because I can tell you when things make sense and some requests don't make sense. Okay. Now with me, I always like to make sure that you and your family are not only approved for one program, I want to make sure that you've got a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. Okay. Last thing I want to do is, get me excited about a move. That's one thing. Okay. Pull the rug out on me. Okay, fine. That's happened to me in my lifetime. I've heard no before. In fact, I respect no the older I get, but I'm never going to tell you no. I'm just going to say just not right now. But that's why I want to have a plan B. If plan A runs out of funding or there's some quirky guideline that we don't get approved for, I want a plan B or a backup plan. Okay. Again, say no to me. That's one thing. Don't get my family excited for a move. And then I got to pull the rug out on my family. That's not cool. Okay. So, and I find that most people roll that way. So anyways, so you know what down payment assistance programs, I had mentioned it. There's the forgivable ones. There's down payment assistance programs that are liens on the house. You never make a payment on it, but when you sell the house, they want the money back. Okay. So you get free use of the money. Like the state of Michigan has a program right now. It's actually been around for many, many years, back since the 80s when I first got in the business. They were offering $2,500. Now it's up to $10,000. Back in the 80s, it was free money. You got to keep the $25,000. Now it's $10,000. And when you sell the house, they want the money back. No big deal. You never make a payment on it. They never charge any interest. You get free use of the state's money to buy a house. Why not? Okay, that's the program that works for you. Great. The next type of down payment assistance is one where you make payments over the course of the loan. Those are rare. I find we rarely have to do those. I'm more about the free money or free use of the money. My goal is to get you in with as little money out of pocket now so we can start building wealth for you and your family now, not waiting, 2-3 years. I can't tell you how many times I actually just had somebody last weekend, and he was, oh, I think I'm going to wait. He's been looking off and on for 3 years, and housing prices just keep going up. He's like, well, I think I'm going to wait another couple of years. I'm like, well, the sad thing is, you can wait a few years. He could do it now. The down payment assistance money's out there. The payment's just a little bit beyond his comfort zone. And I'm like, you could do that and save up, but in 3 years, the house is probably going to be 10 to 20% more than what it is now. So 10%. So you might as well buy it today and get that savings and the tax write-offs versus waiting till then. So sometimes, and I'm not one, I don't like pushing people out of their comfort zone, but I just think for what he was looking for, it took 3 years to find this one house that was a really good fit. Finding something with a few acres in Farmington Hills at $350,000, it's like, oh my gosh, this was a dream. This isn't going to cross our plate. I'd be shocked if it crosses my plate in my lifetime again. So anyways, so we went over the down payment assistance, types of grants, all kinds of grant money out there. It could be grants for your down payment, grants for your closing costs, grants for appraisals, grants for home inspections. So lots of things like that. Now, eligibility requirements. So a lot of these programs, they do have some requirements. When it comes to credit, the most lenient ones I work with are down to 580. For the most part, if your score is 600 or above, you're in. Okay. If you're someone that has credit scores in the mid 500s, you know what? Sign up for my credit repair webinar. I'm telling you, I've been through a lot. Most of you have been around. I can see a few familiar names. You've heard me tell this story, so hope you don't nod off with this one. But I have spent actually 38 years in the mortgage industry. So I got my license back in 1987. So be 39 years this year. Wow, it just flies by. So anyways, that being said, I sold real estate for a few years, spent well over 20 plus years in the mortgage world. That's how I learned to tap into a lot of these programs. But in my time in the mortgage world, I actually was a principal in a mortgage company and a title insurance company. And unfortunately, I was a victim of a bookkeeper that embezzled quite a bit of money, and it was a tough spiral down from there. And with the mortgage company, it was unfortunate, but we had a line of credit with Chase, and during the meltdown, Chase shut down all their mortgage banking facilities, and that was just a spiral down. Very, very humbling times for my family and I, but we bounced back. So when it comes to doing this, I went through it all. You name it: foreclosure, bankruptcy. It was a tough battle, and a lot of people have to go through that. So I share that with you just to let you know that I've been there. I know what it's like, and rebuilding my credit was something I had to do. And back then, 12, 15 years ago, it was a heck of a lot harder than it is now. Now there's all kinds of tools available to get it done quickly. So I am very, very in tune with getting people fixed up and buttoned up on their credit. Let me give you a link. I'm putting this in right now in the chat box. This is a link to my credit repair webinar. This Saturday, 9 a.m., I go over everything, okay? What goes into a credit score, how to analyze your scores, how to pick out what we can manipulate quickly to get a quick spike in your scores. If we need to add credit to get a quick spike, we can do that too. There are a lot of levers for us to pull and buttons to push to get a score up. I'm very confident saying it's not hard for me to get anyone's credit score up 60 points in 60 days. Okay, and I go over some of the big things. What if you just bankruptcy, foreclosure, repossessions, student loans, collection accounts always trip people up. I touch on all of those things on that credit repair webinar. Okay. Now, with regards to the eligibility requirements, like I said, credit scores typically need to be above a 580. If you're in the mid 500s, boom. If your credit scores are even lower than that, schedule a call with me. I'll give you the playbook to get your scores up and give you a good indication of how long it's going to take. From an income standpoint, do not let anybody tell you fixed income keeps you from buying a house. There are options and there are paths to take, okay? The people that I showed you earlier, let's see, Emily, fixed income. There were a few fixed income people in that those scenarios that I showed you earlier. Okay, so I always tell people, oddly enough, buying a house, the money is the easy part for me. Okay, I'm going to show you or tell you in a few minutes how I structure deals to get people in with very little money out of pocket. Okay, most of the people that I work with that can purchase a home with just a few $1,000s. A lot cheaper than what it takes to rent right now. Okay. So we talked about down payment assistance and grants benefits. Like I said, we want to do grants first. So common misconceptions: you need money. You don't need money. The money is the easy part. I routinely help people that don't plan on buying a house. We cross paths and they're like, really? Then okay, I'll do it, but I don't have $2,000 today. Okay, great. What you're going to need is you'll need $350 for a home inspection today. Next week, we're going to need $500 for appraisal. Okay. Then we'll get a deposit. Either that's $500 or $1,000. That could be a few weeks down the road or even at closing. Okay. As long as we communicate and I know your budget, we can work through anything together. Okay. All right. Next thing. Here we go. Now, the steps to go from A to Z. The first thing we want to do is we don't want to find a realtor up front. We don't want to go to a lender up front. What we want to do is we want to find what programs are available. This is where you take ownership and start doing this yourself. You're going to take control and take the bull by the horn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to navigate away from this slide and I'm going to take you out to my website. This is our new website, Own the Roof. Okay. So find grants, buy a home. We show renters how to buy a home with zero down using grants and down payment assistance. These are all the free tools that are out there. Just go to the website and go down to program search. Okay, let me put that in here. Oops, can't see up here. Copy. Let's put this right in here. Paste. There you go. Program search. Just telling you a little bit about it here. Ready to get started? Click the search programs. All right. Someone mentioned Arizona. Whereabouts in Arizona? April, whereabouts are you? What city? Gilbert, Arizona. Okay, let's go here. And we'll go to Zillow. I'm not a huge fan of Zillow. If you ever have to look for houses, I've got a website that's a direct feed. That direct feed is Michigan Home Search right here. Does a great job covering Michigan. But let's try. Let's see here. We've got Gilbert, Arizona Homes. There we go. Let's zoom in here. Oops. See if we can find a house. Oh, we're looking at rent. We want to buy. For sale. Okay. Let's go. We've got, here's one, says showcase on it. $475. Looks like a nice area, April. Let's get that address. Copy. And let's go out. Again, we went to the home search, property search. We're going to just input our address right here. And this is the Own the Roof website, property search area. And paste. Let's see what happens. Look at April. There's 24 programs available in Gilbert, Arizona. All you got to do is click the Get Details button. I'm going to enter my personal stuff here, and it's going to email me. Does it quick. So if I go over here, inbox, and there we go. It's already coming in. And look at this. Here we go. Okay. So thank you for viewing the down payment connection page for John Collins. Searching 2546 Camellia in Gilbert, Arizona. Qualifies for 25 home buyer assistance programs up to $50,000, April. So if we look at this list, Arizona Industrial Development is giving 4%, 6% for energy, 5%, 5%, 5%. Here we go. Federal Home Loan of San Francisco Middle Income Buyers Program, $50,000. $32,000 from San Francisco, first time. Now, even though it says San Francisco, you may think, oh, it doesn't. These things tend to be federal programs, and a lot of times will cross state lines. For example, there's a program out of Indiana that covers closing costs in Michigan, $5,000. A lot of people, that's a program no one really knows about. So, in fact, the last couple of deals I've done, they said that they're a lot of times they weren't used to they had to dust the program off. So let's see what else we've got here. Any other big ones? 20,000 from the county, Maricopa. So yeah, so lots of money here. $32,000 from the Newton Community Development Corporation, Arizona Department of Housing, $30,000 assistance. So so some of these, yeah, so lots of money available, a lot more than I ever would have thought in Arizona. So now I'm going to take just a second, just so I can give people an idea of what's available in my neck of the woods. Let me see, anybody else throw any addresses in here? Well, I'm going to give you one right now. This is the address where I grew up at, 168. Here we go, Lamphere, Detroit. Whoops, 48219. Look at, we only qualify for 21 programs, not as good as April's. And let's see here. Okay. So here you can see this house on Lamphere where I grew up qualifies for $25,000. Okay. But, you know, this house might only be $120,000 nowadays. Okay. Not in a real high rent area. It's actually, if any of you are familiar with the city, it's actually close to Finkel and Losser area. It's an old Brightmoor area. So, so things are a lot more affordable there now. So, so typically what we would do on a lot of these programs, just to give you a feel for it. So let's say, let me go back to April's scenario. Okay. So, all right. So suppose we got April $50,000 and we know that house is $475,000. Well, typically, you know, we're going to structure this where we might be putting a $40,000 down payment and we'll hold back $10,000 for her closing costs. That way she's getting in with very little money out of pocket. So that's kind of how we structure it. Some of these have restrictions with regards to X amount have to go to down payment, and everyone's a little bit different, but you get the gist of it. So plenty of money out there. Now imagine if we could start stacking some of these programs like we did for Emily, one on top of the other. Oh my gosh, sometimes it's just crazy how much money we can stack up. All right, any questions there before I move on? So that is through my website. Right here, Own the Roof. Now at Own the Roof, we've got publications. These are free. Here it says you have to purchase it. Let me know. Anybody that goes to my webinars, I give them away for free. Okay. I'll be happy to send you a digital copy. Now, I ended up writing this book, no down payment, no problem. Okay. You don't have to buy it on Amazon. If you want to, I'd be happy to take the contribution, but you don't have to. Okay. Next one. From there, now on this program, I tell people how to tap into these programs, how to get to the money, all of that stuff. Just that easy. How to structure the transactions, how to get it, and more importantly, how to set things up for success. And knowing that the big things of getting into these programs are, number one, the money, number two, the income, and number three, the credit. Those are the biggest hurdles. Okay. I can't work for you, so I can't do anything with the income, but I can tell you the money is the easy part, number one. And number two, getting your credit where it needs to be is not as challenging as a lot of people think it is. In fact, never, ever pay for credit repair anymore. Okay. There are ways, and I'm actually going to start doing a class and a workshop. I do the classes now, but I want to do a workshop. Okay. So I wrote this book, No Credit, No Problem, teaching people how to get their credit scores up, how to write the letters, how to do all of that. And you know what? I'm proud of it. It's a good tool for people, but there's no reason to buy it. I didn't do these to make money. I did it to give to people. So I give them away all the time. Now, with the way artificial intelligence is right now, oh my gosh, it's so easy to do credit. All we have to do is take your credit report from freeannualcreditreport.com, put in a specific command into artificial intelligence, and it'll tell you exactly what to do. Heck, it'll write the letters for you to challenge things. It'll give you all of the steps. It's so easy now. So I'm going to be doing a workshop, hopefully in March, going over those. Would anybody be interested to actually attending that, either in person or a actual virtual event? April's asking a question, are these programs stackable? 100%. Okay. So when we look at, I don't know which ones. So what we want to do, April, a lot of these programs, let me go back to where your situation is. Okay. So what we do, April, is we look through. Now, down payment assistance, you can't really stack down payment assistance on top of down payment assistance. But what we can do is we can take the down payment assistance and stack grant reports on top of it, or grants on top of it. So for example, a lot of these programs, for example, remember, let's go back here in the beginning. Let me go back, and I apologize. I am still learning how to do this. This is a new format for me as far as navigating through this. Okay, remember Emily here? Emily had so many programs. So what it was, the down payment assist, it depends on whether the down payment assistance or the grant has a lien on it, because a lot of these programs don't allow you to stack liens. Okay, so you have your first lien, which is your underlying mortgage. Then you're going to stack a down payment assistance program on top of it. If the other programs don't have a lien requirement, then we stack them right on top. That's how it works. Okay, so you got to be able to decipher which ones are and which ones aren't. And that's why I always say find the programs first, and then we want to align ourselves with the lender that's not only doing the main program, but which one is going to have the money to stack on top. And I will tell you, in most cases, what happens is we want to work with, I find the regional banks do a much better job stacking grants on top of down payment assistance than some of the mortgage brokers or lenders do. And the reason that is, a lot of these regional banks have money that they have to push to the streets, money that doesn't even show up on the list that we just pulled. So it depends on when they have to push what they call Community Reinvestment Act money, CRA money, out to the streets. For example, I just got somebody last week, some CRA money came out, and and it usually comes out right after the first of the year, and then the banks just push this money to the streets in order to be in compliance and get it over with. So I was able to get somebody a down payment assistance program, and then we stacked it with a $7,500 gift program. Okay, and that was just Community Reinvestment Act money that has no liens, free money at the time of closing. Okay, kind of an elevated conversation. Don't mean to confuse you, but there are options there. And yes, stacking programs, that's what it's all about. Okay, so we talked about how to find the programs. Whoops, sorry to bounce around there on you. Okay, we talked about the eligibility. So the eligibility is basically just making sure your income and your credit scores and other factors fit inside the program. Okay, and I usually want to, we want to do that before we connect you with the lender. Okay, we don't need you, shopping around is fine, but I don't want to connect you with a lender unless there's a high degree of likelihood that you're going to pull across the finish line. In fact, when I connect you with a lender, 90% of those people end up getting approved and across the finish line. The only time they don't is when something pops up that maybe they forgot to tell me. And that happens. So, but if they don't, we'll either switch you to a program that does work, because remember, I always like a plan B and plan C, or we'll figure out what we need to do to get you into position to do it and give you a nice, accurate time frame so you can, factor that into it. Next, after that, we want to get your documentation together. Okay, they're going to need your bank statements, your proof of income. If you're on a fixed income, Social Security awards letter, stuff like that. W-2s if you're a W-2 employee. If you're self-employed, possibly want your tax returns. Okay, things like that. That's going to go to the lender. From there, now we're going to connect you with the lender. And like I said, I'm not going to connect you with the lender unless I'm 90% certain that you're going to pull through. Sometimes I'll connect people with lenders and we'll be out showing houses the same day. Sometimes it may take a day or two, but they're going to take your file, take your documentation, and they're going to run it through their automated system to get you pre-approved. And then we're off to the races. Just that easy. And then the next one, we've got to make sure that you are connected. This is, in my opinion, the key to the whole equation. I mean, I'm here in southeastern Michigan, so obviously, going out and showing some houses for APRI, that's just not going to work for me, but I do have partners all over the country. So what I would do is I would connect APRI with someone in that area that's proficient in getting these deals accepted by sellers and across the finish line, because there's an art to it. Okay. You'd be surprised how many times people get to closings and the seller goes, what? How on earth did they do? They don't have to bring any money to closing, or they're buying this house only a couple $1,000s. How did you pull that off? No one knows until the time of closing, and it's no one's business. Okay. We don't need to, I feel like sometimes agents tell the sellers too much. It's no business where you're getting your money from. If somebody's buying a home for $500,000 and they're putting $100,000 down, okay, they don't go, hey, are you taking that out of your IRA, or is that sitting in your checking account, or this or that? No, it doesn't matter where it comes from. It just matters that the lender's verified where it's coming from. So we don't need to tip your hand to the seller any more than you have to. Okay. So for those reasons, I think it's important that you work with a seasoned agent that knows how to get these deals accepted and across the finish line, because there is an art to it. Okay. There's always something that pops up, always. And that's where I think experience is what helps and gets it across the finish line. So my job, even though APRI is down in Arizona, is to work with their agent. Hey, John, and I get it all the time. How would you structure this particular down payment assistance program? Hey, what about this lender? This lender's doing this, this, this. I'll tell them if it passes the smell test. I'm on the phone with lenders all day long. That's my job. I told you I spent close to 25 years in the mortgage world. I know how to talk to the lenders to get deals done. And sometimes it needs to be restructured. Here's a perfect example. I had one just the other day. It's unfortunate, but the deal that we had negotiated with the seller was going through a divorce. They had a first mortgage, a equity line of credit, and then they had a new roof installed last year. Didn't tell anybody that was a lien on the house. Well, guess what's going to happen? They don't have enough money to close on the transaction because they owe more than it's actually worth by the time they pay everything out. So how do we get this? So we're like $3,000 short. So how do we do this? Okay. Well, there's a couple of different ways. It's a divorce. So you can imagine, unfortunately, in divorce, not everybody doesn't want to chip in on a divorce. There's always some people feeling they're getting the drawing the short straw, so to speak. So I certainly understand that. So what do? I talk to the other agent and say, all right, I get it. I understand. Stuff happens. Let's start chipping in here a little bit. Okay. And let's get the lender to chip in. Okay. So there's several ways to get these deals across the finish line. Suppose the down payment assistance program only pays a certain amount. Then we need to ask the seller for some concessions. Well, we can't do that, especially in this situation. There's no money to be had. So we can go back to the lender and get lender credits. How do we get lender credits? Through massaging the interest rate. This is how I always buy houses. Okay. I don't look at the interest rate. I don't get caught up in those details. What I get caught up, it's certainly a factor, but it's not the end all be all. So look at it this way. If the interest rates are at 6% and the closing costs are, let's just say the closing costs are $5,000. If I take a 0.25% higher interest rate and go from 6% to 6.25%, and I'm borrowing $500,000, they're going to give me an extra point. Think of it this way. When it comes time to selling that loan on the secondary market, if it has a 6.25% interest rate versus a 6%, it's more valuable when they sell it. As a result, they can collect a premium. We negotiate. I basically go to the lender and, hey, what's the premium pricing on this one for raising it 0.25%? Usually it's about a 1% give back. That 1% on a $500,000 loan is $5,000. On a $200,000 loan, it's $2,000. Well, I take that money and ask the lender to pay your closing costs with it. It's basically a lender credit, but it's done by the way of premium pricing. So with that being said, those are the types of things that I work on in the back end to get your deal across the finish line. And the reason, so that's what I had to do on that house that was basically over. So what happened was I basically said, hey, don't like to do it, but you know what? The deal's done. Let's just get it across the finish line. Talked to the listing agent. He gave in some money. I gave in an equal amount, and I went to the lender and I got lender credit for it. And now we're closing. Most importantly, we are getting the buyer into the house. That's what it's all about. Everything else just takes care of itself over time. Now, premium pricing, the reason I do that all the time is imagine today, if interest rates are at 6% and I take a 6.25%, my payment might go up $50, but I'm going to save $2,000. Or if it's a $400,000 loan, I'm going to save $4,000. Realistically, I would say it would be, so if you take $2,000 divided by $50, I don't know what that number works out to. 100 payments, 8 years. Take you 8 years to break even on it. That's why I do it, because if the interest rates go down from 6.25 to 5.25, and I can refinance with no money at 5.25, why wouldn't I do it? The problem that I saw in the refinance boom is that people paid closing costs over and over and over again to get their interest rates down a half, sometimes a 1/4%. It was so wasteful. Just wait until you can do it for no cost each time. Okay. That's it. Pretty simple when you think about it. So that's just how I roll. So those are the types of things that we'll do. And we'll talk to agents across the country and give them that type of education. Because I'm going to tell you, not too many realtors, not too many mortgage guys know about the premium pricing. I just happened, when I was in the mortgage world, I was actually at a high level position where I know that this stuff exists. All they have to do is go to their pricing department and ask, and we can get it done. Okay. So lots of ways to get money and credit. So we can get credits for seller concessions. We can get credits for, by the way of grants, certainly by premium pricing. Some of the regional banks, heck, last week we had somebody that I just had to say, hey, you know what? Do you guys have any benefits for opening a checking account? We were just that thin on the deal. Oh yeah, you put $25 in the savings account, we'll give you $500 at closing. Boom. Save them another $500 at closing. That way they walked in with no money out of pocket. Okay. We don't always have to sharpen the pencil that much, but if the money's on the table, why not pick it up? Okay. All right. Next thing. Imagine if you're opening the door to your own home for your family. It's a process, but it is possible. Okay. I do these all day, every day. I hope you can tell. I discovered this whole avenue. I mean, I didn't discover it. It hit me in the face about 12 years ago when I was buying a house after we were rebounding. It's actually more like 15 years ago when we were rebounding from our financial meltdown. But I had an epiphany. And it was at that time I kind of said, you know what? I've been selling for 20 years and basing my whole career on sales, just constantly chasing numbers. And once I threw that in, I'm a much happier man. I don't know whether you can tell, but I love what I do. I mean, I just turned 61. I'll be 62 this year. And then someone asked me, what are your thoughts on retirement? I'm like, heck, no way. I've got too much energy to give to too much passion to give to this world, especially now that I've had this. I work more, spend most of my time in some love in underserved communities. I'm there all the time. So anyways, so with that being said, here's my contact information. I also want to start opening it up for some questions here. Oh, by the way, let me put my cell number in here. Always happy to share that, 248-252-7283. Now, I'm the first one to tell you, I am a chatty Cathy. I am on the phone all day long. I am a self-professed phone jockey. Okay, that's really where my calling is just helping people and getting people into these programs and across the finish line. But my calendar gets booked up, and let me give you another link to my calendar so you can schedule a call. If you can't, I get cancellations on my calendar quite a bit because everybody's busy. I understand that. I don't take it the wrong way. But book a call. If you can't make it, just text me. Let me know. Hey, John, can't make it. Call you here. Or I just have people call me. Hey, John, are you free for a call? Oh, my gosh. One thing I pride myself in returning all my phone calls by the end of the day. It's just a pet peeve of mine because I know what it's like to wait on phone calls. So I'm almost obsessive about it. So I would rather return your phone call at my next opportunity from a text than have to wait till the end of the day and try to catch everybody at once. Because I don't know about you, but nobody even uses voicemail anymore. So text is awesome. Text me anytime. Okay. What else do we want to talk about? Oh, I want to talk about my website some more. So tools, resources. We've got the publications. Anybody wants the book? Here, let me give you, here is a link. Click that link. Oh, that's free book a call. Didn't mean that. Where is the free book? Oh, Here we go. Anybody wants a copy of my book? There you go. owntheiroof.com/free book. Go there, enter your information. It'll be emailed to you instantly. You'll get the digital copy. Now, we just launched our courses. They are free. Let's go back here. Oh, courses are over here. Go to the course page, no down payment guide, quick credit repair, and how to structure deals. These are 3 digital courses. All you got to do is put in your information and you'll be taken right to them. Here, put my information here. John, own the roof, submit. Check your email. That's going to send you a link. Anyways, you will get my free digital course. I think the no down payment might be about 6 hours of classes that I've recorded. The credit repair one is about 3 hours of classes. And then the structuring deals is probably about 2 hours of classes. Okay. So all of these 2, the no down payment and the structuring deals, they're designed to work together. And the reason I did the structuring deals is I find that a lot of people can tap into the programs, but until you know how to actually work the levers behind the scenes, picking up all the pennies on the table, that's the key for me. So, all right. And all of this stuff for people to go to my webinars like you are right now, this is all free. Okay. And will always be free. All right. Now let's get into some of these questions here. Okay. Apri, did we cover all your stuff? Any questions there? Do you have to be associated with the bank? Starita, no, you don't. Okay, so don't worry about that part. So that doesn't matter. Most of the banks, you don't need to have an account there. You don't need to open an account there. Sometimes it's better if you don't. Remember how I said that one person put $25 in an account and got a $500 credit at closing? That's because they didn't have an existing bank account. So don't be worried about that. All right. April, yes, we talked about that. Okay. Brenda Sandifer, you have your credit report. Great. So Brenda, reach out to me. Love to give you the command to and work with you on running your report through. Tony Woods, you are so welcome. Good. Keely, you are so welcome. Oh, I'm glad you said that. Thank you very much. Getting a little long-winded here tonight. It's after 8 o'clock, so I usually try to wind up in about an hour. But when I start doing these webinars, you wind me up. I'll go as long as there's people asking. Good. I hope so, April. If there's anybody else you can pass our information along to, like I said, these programs are available all over the country, and my website covers all over the country. So feel free, April, if you've got some addresses, pop them in there. Good. All right. Any other questions out there? You know, someone asked earlier, I think it was Wayne County were a few. Let me jump out just because I'm thinking of that. I'm going to jump out to one of the programs in southeastern Michigan, because there was somebody was asking, it was like Taylor, Brownstown. There was a program, National Faith, down payment assistance. Let's go down. Okay, so somebody was asking, and I think Lincoln Park, you can see Lincoln Park is in here. And I think they had Brownstown was another one. And I can't remember where the other place was. But anyways, Taylor, I think is what it was. And you know what? Taylor is not listed in here. Taylor does have its own program, but as you can see, City of Taylor is out of money right now. But Wayne County, program has 224,000. This program is not getting used much. It was at 300,000, several months ago. So people are forgetting about it. Now, this program will give you it's like 13 here. You'll see 13,999. And this, if you read it here, see, this is a forgivable loan for 5 years at 0% interest. So what does that mean? That means you can use this program to cover your down payment. So let's say you're buying a $200,000 house. Typically, it might require 3.5% down. That's $7,000. That leaves another $7,000 for your closing costs. You can get into this program with probably less than a couple $1,000s out of pocket to buy a house. Great program. Free money. Like I said, you live there 5 years, no interest. At the end of 5 years, if you still own the house, bam, the loan's forgiven. Incredible way to buy a house. And that's through the National Faith. Now that you have to go through, there's several lenders that do National Faith. So now what I would do is if somebody was looking in those areas, I would connect you with the lender that does National Faith and probably get you one that does the MISHTA program, the state of Michigan, depending upon the credit score, and maybe a third program. Okay. The other nice thing about this program at National Faith, let me see if it says it in here. Doesn't say it. But it only requires a 580 credit score. Now, the downside to it, there are some median income restrictions. So it depends on the size of your household, how many people are in it, and where your income is. So they do have some income hurdles that we have to get past. But schedule a call with me, happy to go over it with you. Keely, I have to say, I did stumble with your name. So thank you for saying that, but I'm probably not the first one. Taylor. Okay. So Taylor does have money. It's just not a lot of the programs that I'm used to working with. So they probably will get refunded soon since it's the first of the year and they're out of money. But Taylor usually, I believe, does a $15,000 increments. And it wouldn't surprise me if I can't remember what it was. I think they might get $500,000, but we'll see. But wouldn't surprise me if it pops up in the near future. Oh, here you can see these numbers were last updated February 3rd. So about a week ago. All right. Any other questions? Boy, I appreciate all the people. Good attendance tonight. Oh, and then one thing we didn't, oh boy, I forgot. Tonight I was going to talk about more of the investment side of it, and I apologize. I'm going to whip through that quickly because if there's anybody hanging on for that, I wish somebody would have asked. I get in such a role here. But tonight I promised someone that I was going to go over the investment angle, and let's go out and show you the investment angle to all of this. So we're going to go to the free program search. Okay. Let me go out to, let me see if Zillow can even do this. Okay. Zillow search. For sale, home type. And okay, let's do this. So it is possible to buy multi-units. Crazy. This is an advanced maneuver that I was supposed to focus on tonight, and I apologize. I did not do that. But let's go to my neck of the woods. Let's just say Detroit. And this can be done anywhere. Okay. So Detroit, home type, multifamily, and all right, let's zoom in. Let's say, let's try to find something that's realistic. Say we've got one here, 140,000. Renovated, 6 beds, 2 baths. Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's say somebody's on a fixed income. Okay. Or maybe they're a wannabe investor. We've got this house right here. And let me just see if there's one more in here that might work. Nope. I'm looking for maybe like a fourplex. These will work all the way up to fourplexes. So what we can do is we'll go into the search. Eligible. Here we go. I'm going to put in that address. Paste. Oops. Let's go back. Let's try this. Every now and then. West Grand Street, I think the West Grand Street is throwing it off. There we go. So 21 programs available for this home on West Grand Street. Now we're just going to go down to the sale price. I thought it was like $160,000. We're going to go to duplex. There's 8 programs that will allow you to buy a duplex. Crazy. So let's get details. Now, this is just one way I teach people how to purchase with a fixed income, because sometimes if you're on Social Security, it's not easy if that's the only income you have right now. Thoroughly aware of that. Imagine if we could get you into a duplex, and the way rents are right now, they cover your mortgage payment. So let's go back. Here, our list of programs. 9,600, 8,000, 56, $20,000 through the Indianapolis Launch Down Payment Assistance Program, 20,000 through Compass Working Capital Assistance Program. That's a grant. Ooh, that's money. The fact that we can take that grant money and possibly stack it up with some down payment assistance money, awesome. So this is how this could possibly play out. Let's go back here. Where was that one for 100 and I think it was right up at 155. Well, let's just say it's this one. Okay. There's probably some type of calculator in here. Calculate now. So down payment. Well, I can tell you right now, a $150,000 mortgage, payment might be about $1,300 a month. What would a duplex like that rent for? Probably easily $1,100, maybe $1,200. So imagine if all you had to pay was $200 a month out of your pocket, the other unit covers it. Crazy. These deals are out there, especially the nice thing about it is suppose you have a fixed income. Typically, these programs, no more than 50% of your income can go to your house payment. Okay, so if you're on a fixed income and that income is, let's just say $1,000 in Social Security, they do allow us to increase that income by 25% since it's usually not taxable. So they'll give you credit for $1,250 a month. Suppose now you're renting half of the place out for $1,250 a month. That's $2,500. As long as you don't have any debts, bam, you're getting a $1,250 a month payment. It's just that simple. Now, the problem is that aren't that many houses out there that work for it. So we just have to be diligent. Patience and persistence is definitely the key when you're house hunting. And I always tell people, start looking for houses as soon as possible. Get familiar. I'm familiar with the market. I think it's very important for you to know the market. That way, when value is presented to you, you're not going to think twice. You're just going to jump because you're empowered. You've got all the money. You got the pre-approval. You're ready to go. If you hesitate, somebody else pops in behind you. Okay. All right. Any other questions out there? So that's how I do things on a multi-unit. And like I said, if you find 4-unit buildings, oh my gosh, they're a little harder to come up with a quadplex in the Detroit area, but you look at New York, Chicago, LA, a lot of those in those areas. Now, don't get me wrong, they're more money, but look at this. You go to Zillow, it might be more money, but you go to New York right now, I just had someone that had $200,000 in down payment assistance in New York. And that wasn't even the biggest one. The biggest one was actually $261,000 in the 5 boroughs area. And then he went out to Long Island and it went into $300,000. And the thing is, they have to give these amounts because it's just pricing people out of the market. So look at it this way. New York. Oh my gosh. It was, here, we actually have this on my website. Give you a feel for it. And let's go home here. If you look at my website and you will see down towards the bottom, Miami offering 200,000. That's not correct. I don't know if Austin's offering 260, but LA's offering 160, Chicago's 40, New York 260,000, LA 50, Detroit's 30. I think we've got one up to 75 if you're buying in certain zip codes in Detroit. So lots and lots of programs out there, lots of ways to get things done. All right. Oh, well, April, I certainly hope you reach out soon. And then Keely, great. April, glad you're impressed. Hey, if you ever have any questions out there, please don't hesitate to pick up a call. I'd like to think I'm fairly approachable. There's very few situations I haven't run into in the many years I've been doing this. And I love finding ways to get people across the finish line. Like I said earlier, whether it's 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years, it all comes down to your timeline. So I'm not here to do anything other than give you as much educational content as I possibly can. And hopefully my team and I will be your resource when it comes time to pulling the trigger. Okay. If I can ever be of service to anyone in your network, friends, family, please pass my information along. Love it if you could, do me the honor of helping out your network. And I should have mentioned this earlier. I always forget to ask people for help, but I'm going to give you, if you could please just take a few minutes. Here is a link to my Google reviews. If you could please go out to Google review, just click this link and leave me a quick review. If you could just pass it along. Hey, John just gives educational content. Okay. Nobody wants to be sold. I'm not here to sell anybody anything. I'm just here to help people tap into these programs and make as few mistakes as possible. Especially, I know the message that I pass along and what I tell people really sounds too good to be true. And I get a lot of people that, that sometimes, tear things down, think it's a scam, but it's not the case. So I can tell you, we fund these programs day in and day out. These things have been available for generations. It's just that most banks and lenders aren't going to tell you about it because they only have 1 or 2 programs. And if you don't fit those boxes, then they'd rather not. They don't want to see you go to another lender and start putting efforts into it. So, I mean, I've been in the mortgage world. I know what it's like. We were told to avoid these programs. They're not that much work. In today's digital world, it's just pressing an additional button or submitting a file to a down payment assistance program. These aren't things that you need to do. This is what the lender does. And I make it a point to align myself with lenders that know how to get these deals done. And if I assign you or connect you with a lender, I'm going to hold them accountable. Okay. Just like they'll hold me accountable to make sure my side's tightened up. Okay. We all need to be accountable to some degree. But what we don't want to do is basically promote false hope. that's happens way too much in this world right now. So, but I find that that's what my job is building up hope, because a lot of people just don't believe. And I get it. When my world was torn down, 15 years ago financially, and I will stress, it was just financially. Okay. Thank God, my family, we had so many great lessons and came together and rallied together. And I've been blessed with 4 wonderful kids that are older now, and they're all thriving. And my wife and I have been together 37 years now. So all great, great things. So that being the case, life is good. I'm blessed that I get to educate people on something that I have a passion for. So if there's any way you could do me a favor and give me a good review, I'd certainly appreciate it. A lot of people put a lot of weight in those, and this is a link to our Google review. Okay. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you all very much for hanging on as long as you did tonight. Hope our paths cross again real soon. And if you ever have any questions, whether it's mortgages, real estate, which is actually what I do, is connect people and help you find the house and negotiate for you. So I'm the realtor, my team and I, and then mortgages, told you how many years I spent there. And I actually spent quite a few years as a principal in a title insurance company. So there's very few sides of this industry that I haven't been exposed to. Every now and then I run across unique situations that I've got a pretty good Rolodex to tap into for that. But very few things will trip me up. But always love meeting new people and seeing what we can do to make their dreams come true and connect them with a new home. So thank you all again for watching, and hope our paths cross again real soon. Have a good night, everyone.